Hello guys and welcome to today's video. So today we will discuss a very elementary topic, I would say, in Python, and that is lists. So lists are, if you have worked with C++ or Java or similar languages, right? And if you have idea of arrays there, then lists are, it would be very easy for you to grasp what lists are. So just to give you a brief overview, so lists are basically a data structure in Python which we use for arranging the data in a particular sequence, right? So I have, let's say we take an example here. So I have this list, and so any list will start with this square braces, and we can have as many elements as we want inside it. So I have all these integers here, and I have already discussed for loops in a separate video which I will link in the channel. So I can iterate through this list, right? Let's say for x in this, I'll just print x, right? Let's see what the output. So you can see I am getting 1 2 3 and 45, right? So lists are nothing but this is a data structure. So if you are very new to programming, and you can check out other videos related to data structure, but to give you a very basic understanding, so data structure is just a way in how you arrange the data in memory, right? So you have lists, you have dictionaries, you have, let's say, trees, you can have hash maps, right? So all of these are kind of data structure. You can have sets. So these are all data structures. So data structures, by the name itself, it means that you structure the data in a particular fashion. Now list is a very simple example of that. It's just a sequence of elements. Usually in other programming languages like C++ or Java, you in a list you can have, or in an array you can have, like, elements of a particular type only, right? But for Python you can have lists with different types as well. So in this example I have only this integer types, but I can have, let's say, a mixed list in which I can have different types also. Let's say I have an integer here, then I can put a string, I can put a dictionary here, right? It's a key value pair, and I can have, let's say, some floating point values also, and same as this, I'll just print, right? So you can, so in Python specifically, you can have elements that have different types also. You don't essentially they don't actually need to be of the same data type, right? So in today's video we will see like how we can work with lists and what are the operations that you can perform in lists. If you have experience in some other programming language already, then it would be very straightforward, like some of the functions like to add an element or insert an element or delete an element. It's just that you need to know the functions that are there to basically remember them. But for the newcomers, I hope that you pay attention, and it's more or less straightforward only. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it, right? So first we will see this, how to add an element, right? So okay, I'll just write it like this. So to add a element to a list, we have this function, we have this method called append. right? So how append works is nothing but, let's say I have this, let's take this my list only, and in my list I want to append, right, append, let's say 1 2 3 4, right? So 1234 I want to append. So append, it's nothing but it appends an object to the end of this list. So object is basically the value that you have passed here, right? So append can be used to insert at a time only one element. So whatever you put here, it will be pushed to the end of the list. So if I again print my list, right, I'll just remove this for now. So you can see my list has changed to this element is appended at the end, right? Okay, so that's about append. Then okay, one thing to note that in Python lists are zero indexed. So for those who are not aware of indexing, so index is nothing but the location of a particular element in the list. So zero index means that all the indexes, all the addresses, not addresses, all the places where the elements are, it starts with 0. So one so 1 is at the 0th index, 2 is at the first index, 3 is at the second index, and 45 is at the 4th index, right? So so in other programming languages, like if you have Julia for example, in that the indexes actually start from 1 rather than 0. So it can differ from language to language, but in Python the indexes, all the indexes start from 0, right? So if you want to access, let's say, the third element, right, then you can just do print of my list and 2, because it starts from 0 and you can get the third element, right, that is 3. Okay, so it's 0 1 2 3, right? But let's say you have a very long list and you are not actually aware of the length of that list. I mean, you can find out, right, because you have this let's say if I want to find the length, I can just do len of this and it will give me the result, that is 4, right? But let's say if I don't want to compute this, and if I have a long list and I want to, let's say, get the last element of that particular list, right? So in Python specifically, we have the concept of negative indexes. So what is a negative index? Negative is just that you are starting from the end of the list. So if I do here -1, so you might think that, okay, why can't we take 0, right? Because 0 is already there for it denotes the first element. But if I put -1, it will actually start from the end of the list, and -1 indicates the last element basically. So if I do here, just a second, I haven't saved it, right? So this prints 45. Now if I do -2 here, it will give me the second last element. Let's okay, if I do -3, then we have 2 and so on. -4 will give the 1 as value, right? Now what will happen if I do, let's say, -6, that is more than the length of the list? So you get this error because this list index is out of range. So if you put any value that is more than the length of the list, if I put, let's say, 6 also here, you will get this list index out of range error, right? Now let's see how we can pass like more than one elements into the list. So we already saw how to add an element to the list using append, and to pass more than one element, we actually have this extend function, and let's see how we can use that. So I have my list here, right? So my list, if I do extend, So what it says is that extend list by appending items from the iterable. So you can pass any iterable here. So iterable is something that you can iterate using, right? So basically you can actually pass here other lists, or you can also pass tuples here, right? So if you have a list, let's say I have a list called, let's say a string list, right? Let's say ABC, then EFG, then IJK, right? And if I print that, so you can see this list actually, so all of this get appended to the end of the list. So instead of this list also, you can actually pass a tuple here also, right? So it can be any iterable that you can pass, and this will behave in the same fashion, right? You are let's change something and show you, right? So these are some of the ways in which you can extend, basically append more than one items to the list. Now let's see how to add at a position. So the examples that we discussed till now, these were for appending to the end of the list. But let's say you want to insert a value to a particular position in the array. So for that you can actually use the insert function. Now let's use that. Let's say I have my list and my list dot insert, right? And okay, so what does it say? So you have to actually pass the index first where you want to insert the object, and then you have to pass the object itself, right? So I'll just remove this, and so let's have this array, right? Yeah. So 0 1 2 3 4. So let's say I want to insert it at the 0 1 2. So this place, right? I want to insert 6 here. Okay, so my list should look like 1 2 6 3 4 5, right? So at what position am I adding it? 0 1 2. So I will first put the index here 2, and I want to insert which value? 6 here, right? Then I'll just print it. Right, so you can see here that in place of 6 I have 3 here. Then all the elements that are after it, so all the elements from this index onwards, it will get shifted by one position, right? It's just a push, that you push the other elements further and you just sit on that position, right? So this is basically what adding to a list works. So we have three functions here: append, extend, and insert. And you can use either of these for your own use case. So that was part one of the lists. What I wanted to cover in lists. In the next part, I am going to cover like deletion of elements and other functionalities that are left, right? So yeah, that's all for this video, and see you in the next one.